Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Under Falling Skies. This is the series or campaign discussion, so primarily going to be talking about how the overall campaign feels, and my overall thoughts on the finale and stuff like that. If you want to know my overall thoughts on Under Falling Skies, well, you can probably stick around because I'll probably still bring that up, but you can definitely go check out my original discussion for that. But Under Falling Skies, I mean, a 4-part chapter or a 4-part campaign, I think for this kind of game is perfect. It is just the right amount of game, of some semblance of a story in a Galaga Space Invaders type feel, with dice worker placement, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. You feel like you progress. This does a really, really good job of, I mean, each chapter you're given a new set of rules, but you have basically like 2 scenarios. You have like for how the rules are changing, and then you have so you take 2 of those, like the final, I mean, this is the final battle one, but you take like the 2 level 1s or chapter 1s, you put those in a pile. You have characters that can help you. You shuffle those up, put them in a pile, and then a city. Shuffle that, put those in a pile, and then you pick one of the piles. And I think that's a really smart way for this kind of game to have replayability, because if each time you do chapter 1, you're going to get a different combination of scenario, character, and city, which is going to change how the game plays slightly. I mean, it's not overall drastic, like mind-blowing changes, but it's enough to be like, oh, last time I did Havana, I didn't have this character, and that is going to be a slight special ability that might help you or make it maybe a little bit more difficult. And so you pick those. The one that you didn't pick just gets put away. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, that's just not something that's going to be in this campaign. And then how you succeed or fail on those chapters comes back in the final chapter, because it's like, hey, every city that you saved, you write those down, and now they're damaged, so you didn't come out of this invasion unscathed, but hey, now instead you saved Havana. Well, now you have the damaged version, which, while the damaged version does increase the research level, it also gives you a stronger special ability, and I like that. I think it's a neat little aspect to bring it back in, like for what you had done in the past on the previous chapters. Overall, I mean, this game is very, very challenging. Like, I can't remember, it's been so long since I've done the other chapters, but I can't remember if I ever won or lost. If I lost, I probably just didn't record a redo. But man, it gets pretty rough. Like, especially the final battle, which if you watch that, spoilers for it, I did not win my first game. I sadly lost embarrassingly, but I like the fact that it is very hard, and it wasn't just like you play this and it's just a one and done. Oh, you lost, sucks to suck, do the whole campaign again. I like the fact that you get to be like, hey, okay, well, I lost. Okay, Tokyo fell. Let's try London, or whatever it might be. And so you have multiple attempts to try and succeed. And then, I mean, if you had 6 tries, then you're like, well, okay, I just suck. Or, now, I mean, that is kind of a double-edged sword, because it's like, it is still X number of games in a row to win. Yeah, and so you really have to love this game to be able to just play that many games over and over. But I guess you don't really have to play them over and over that same day, because you're logged. You're like, okay, well, Tokyo fell, this fell. Okay, so these are the 3 cities I have left. I have Havana, Rio de Janeiro, and Cairo, so I'll try and beat the final battle, some other day. Because what's great also about the final battle is they didn't overload it with just new rules. Like, you get, and another brilliant thing about this game is Under Falling Skies, is you get kind of like a quick, hey, here's how you play, and then you have a different section in the rulebook called the full game, where it's like, okay, now here's what cities, here's what threat levels are, here's what robots do. And then in the previous chapters 1, 2, and 3, those slowly bring in new new kind of rules. Oh, vertical multiple rooms. So, which basically means, hey, you typically have to have a robot here to be able to use this section. And so it's all very succinct, and if you play the campaign not with 8 months difference, then you can remember those and be like, oh yeah, okay. Like, I know what the vertical rooms do. I know now robots are extremely important, and robots are extremely important. But the fact is that everything is in really good bite-sized chunks. And yeah, so it's just, it's so hard. Like, because not only does it add, all the ships to try and attack you, and you have to slowly try and whittle it down. Throughout the course of the campaign, it increases your threat level. So all of these sky tiles are double-sided with either like a 1-star or a 2-star. And just off of, like, this one, the level 4 that I have, the 1-star on the left side for the research is 3625, and then it's 5336, so it already increases your research. Then, on the right side for the special abilities, everything moves down 1, your excavation is moved back 1, your base takes a damage, and then you lose. While on the reverse side, it's actually less action, so it's research goes back 1, everything advances 2, and then you lose. So, the threat levels are no joke. But that's the brilliance of this campaign, is that, like, it has a difficulty level. You can be like, I don't really feel like doing a threat level 6. Like, that's just way too much for me. And you don't have to. Like, yeah, the rules kind of stay, do this, but you really, it's your own game, do what you want. Just be like, okay, maybe I'll do 3, or 4, and just see how that works. But overall, like, as an overall campaign from CGE to include, like, just what could have been a regular standard game and throwing in a 4-chapter, like, story kind of really replayable game, it's very, very good. Like, even losing, like, because this is one of those games, yeah, you're rolling dice, but they give you the white dice to mitigate at least some, because you could still roll horribly, but then you're given spaces that you can spend not great dice, but okay, I'll put this 3 here, and that lets me divide it out onto other weaker dice to make them stronger, into other actions to make them useful. So whenever you're playing and it's a very challenging scenario, it doesn't feel hopeless. Like the final battle, I didn't feel like this crushing back against the wall, might as well blow my own brains out because I can't do anything. I never felt that. I always felt like it was still relatively in my control. And whenever I looked back and I lost, I knew exactly what I had done wrong. And so I was like, well, I went hard and I'm going home because I should not have done that. That was my own mistake. I didn't think ahead. And that's one of the great things about this game is that you can, when you're rolling dice, because what I think about with randomness, and so why the dice don't bug me here, is that you don't have this expectation of hoping you're going to do something. So it's not like you plan for everything and then roll the dice and hope that they came out in your favor. You roll the dice and then you set those aside and then you start planning. And so you're not crushed by disappointment. It's just like, well, shit, I was really hoping for a 6. I didn't get one, but I got a few 5s. What can I do with these 5s? Or I rolled all 1s. Well, clearly I'm placing this 1 in a spot that lets me re-roll all of these because they, the rest of the dice don't do anything. And yeah, each time I was sitting here like, I might be able to do this, but it's going to be very, very difficult. And you have so many options whenever the mothership is advancing, and you're like, do I have her advance to ignore one of the mothership abilities from hurting me? It's like, okay, do I have her advance in a way that goes past my excavation going back 3 spots because I just spent a 6 and an energy I don't want to waste, like I don't want to go back 3 and just really just kind of waste it because now I can't use the actions I had planned on. And I like the fact that going through the entire campaign, it never bogged it down. Like, yeah, it added, it always added new scenarios, new cities with special abilities, new characters with special abilities, and a slight, rule thing. Like the rule of the overall chapter, hey, this is what the new chapter rules are, and then depending on which scenario, here's something a little bit different. But you're not, it's not this whole new ordeal of like, oh, now this is becoming extremely convoluted. Nope, this game is still extremely clean. I would have zero problem going through this campaign again just because it's going to be different, and maybe I won't do it in a way that takes me months to apparently finish the last chapter and then completely get destroyed. But yeah, I think Under Falling Skies is, it's solo only. It definitely makes sense on why it's solo only. I wouldn't even begin to be like, oh, I'd really like them to make a cooperative. It's like, nah, I don't want that. This is one of those solo games that time flies and I'm constantly engaged because I'm just trying to make this work. And it's relatively thematic. It's not the most thematic game in the world. The campaign definitely helps a little bit with the story. If anything, if I'm looking for an expansion or something with this, I think, just a story, just more chapters would be cool. More cities, more scenarios, more characters. I think that would just be great just to continue the potential story. But it really doesn't need to be here. Maybe an epilogue would be kind of cool. I think, because one thing I did notice is that whenever you finish the chapter, you just calculate a score, and then you write down what team helped you. So if I had one, it's you add up the threat levels of all the games won during the campaign, and then you subtract one for each destroyed city. So you could, and it is kind of a beat your own score overall campaign, which is kind of whatever. I guess the epilogue is, hey, you destroy the satellite, freed the aliens, saved your planet, and win. And it's like, okay, yeah. Well, what do the aliens do? Do they go back? Do they still try and fight us, or were they, good guys the whole time, but they were just, being taken control by this artificial intelligence? I don't know. I guess, yeah, that was the case. So they're good guys and they leave. But then, so it says, what's next? What's next? Whatever you want. You still have lots of characters, scenarios, and cities to discover. Campaign components can be used in standalone games, or you can assign them to chapters and try the campaign again. The scenarios each belong to particular chapters, but the cities, characters, and sky tiles can be mixed. For sky tiles, use one advanced tile in 2, 2 different tiles in Chapter 3, and any 3 tiles in Chapter 4. You can even try the new campaign with one advanced sky tile from the start. It means that you should probably play on one lower threat level than you are used to, but when you save a city, write down the threat level +1 to compensate for the increased difficulty of the advance. So, yeah, really, after you do the campaign, it's all free, it's all fair game. Just make whatever game you want, which is also great. The fact that it's not like, hey, sorry, you can't use any of the campaign stuff if you're not in the campaign. Nope, the campaign's really just extra. It just helps you understand some of the rules in a bite-sized, progressive way instead of just throwing it all at you at once. Campaign's fantastic. So, Under Falling Skies is still a 10 out of 10. The campaign did not drop it. I wasn't over it. I forgot about it. It wasn't I wasn't putting it off and it's oh god, I have to do chapter 4. Wasn't that, just legitimately forgot, and yeah, had a great time. So yeah, the campaign and everything for this is still 10 out of 10. And that's it, everyone. Let me know what your thoughts are on the campaign for Under Falling Skies, and other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.